Okay. So as I was saying, this is a monthly chat that we have, and it's usually a fairly casual format. And don't forget, you are allowed to bring your favorite morning beverage. For me, it's coffee. And for some of you, if it's coffee plus whatever, that's totally okay too. And so we're just going to wait a few more minutes to make sure that people get the chance to sign in and log in properly. And we're so excited to have you join us today, because this is probably one of the most important topics that I think all of us can discuss today, especially leading into summer. And I know a lot of people, when it comes to summer, especially given what happened the last few years, it's very, very, very exciting for the summer to come. And apparently revenge traveling is in full swing right now. And so creating some momentum, keeping the momentum as real estate investors is so crucial, especially with the changing economies, the rising interest rates these days. So this is what Trust Your Talent is really here for, is that we want to continue to build that community that really keeps the momentum going. And so if that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place. And if this is the first time you're actually joining any Trust Your Talent events, then you will get to learn a little bit about who Trust Your Talent Academy is and what we do and what we, more importantly, help others achieve in life. So we're going to give a couple more minutes. All right, I can see people are starting to trickle in now, and we're about 3 minutes past the clock. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get things started. And for today's session, really, like as I was mentioning earlier before everybody sort of popped in, is the fact that we're at pretty much at the end of July now at this point, and we do have one more session next Saturday. And excuse me, just recovering from an illness this week here. And so next month is August, and a lot of people have family events planned, there's summer activities, there's travel plans. And as real estate investors, especially, or as an investor of any kind, where we are leveraging our money to work harder for us, it is really important to know that while the money is working for us, because of the changing economy, because of everything that's happening out there with rising interest rates, changing values, and a lot of the times actually in cities, provinces, states, counties, countries, there are new legislations coming down regarding how landlords can guide themselves and the tenant rights. So we want to make sure that at every turn, every event that we put on is designed to give you either hard knowledge or soft skills for you to continue. And today, the reason why we wanted to share with you from so many different perspectives, 3 key ingredients for succeeding in real estate investing is that you never know who's going to share what that's going to inspire you. And once again, this is meant to be relatively interactive. So if you have something that you want to share that's really, really help you build the momentum, keep the momentum, creating results, feel free to unmute yourselves as well, even though we do have trainers and coaches and mentors from the Trust Your Talent team here today to share everything. And a quick reminder, make sure you got your favorite morning beverage with you, okay? For me, it's always a little bit of caffeine. And so we're going to start with a little bit of disclaimers. All we want to say here is we are here as educated and professional investors. And what we're doing is we are sharing our perspectives, our learning lessons with you. This is pretty much as real as it gets, as I always say. And so I hope this is what you came for. And we're going to really today, it's not so much about teaching. Maybe for some of you, it may be. However, this is really just us really opening our own journeys, and hopefully it'll add value to yours and help you continue to scale, continue to grow, or even for some of you to get started, okay? And with that said, as I mentioned, if this is your first time coming to a Trust Your Talent Academy event, we're going to just take a couple of minutes and share with you what exactly it is that we do, and once again, more importantly, what we get to help other people achieve in life. first thing first, Treasure Talent Academy is created right here on the Canadian soil, even though we do have North America's largest training team as well as real estate investing curriculum. We first and foremost stands for financial education. So what that really means is we are an academy built upon the concept of teaching other people how money works, and more importantly, how you can put money to work and make it work harder for you. Real estate investing is a vehicle that we have chosen. Real estate is a great asset class, as we all know. However, most of us already have the experience, fortunately and unfortunately, is the fact that if you know how to utilize real estate as an asset class, you can make great money from it. And at the same time, if you didn't know how money works leveraging real estate, you potentially can still stay stagnant and not go anywhere in life. And worse yet, sometimes you can actually lose money. And so our entire goal is to make sure that that does not happen and your financial situation grows the way you would like it to. And so, as mentioned earlier, we have over 16 courses, and every single training course is anywhere between 12 to 24 hours in length. So as you can see, we go very, very deep in every single subject, every strategy, every topic. So for some of you, if you are new to this, strategies, topics, they basically mean strategies such as real estate investing fundamentals, how to really do your proper due diligence, and how to really conduct a proper BRRRR process, and how do you locate distressed properties, and also creative financing. And creative financing actually has a lot of different levels as well. And we also have raising funds, lease options, infills, and project management. That's just to name a few. And obviously, who can forget one of the most popular, most mentioned strategy these days, and that is multi-unit residential investing. And so with that said, we also have mentors that can deliver the training in Mandarin, in English, in Spanish at the same time. So what we really want to create is an environment and a community, which we already have, that really is supportive and that's inclusive. And so this is not a one-size-fits-all journey. We always say that because every single person's financial goal, in large, they might all look like the same. Want to make more money, live a better life. However, we all have different drivers in terms of why we want to accomplish those things. And so what it comes down to is having somebody on your journey, and actually in this particular case, multiple somebodies on this particular journey with you, so that we are able to really help you capture how you can steer your way in the right direction and get to your final financial destination that you are looking for. And so we always say that it's not one size fits all. If you wonder how things work, start your coaching calls with a strategy coach so that you can start to understand. Again, different factors will affect how you approach and tackle this entire journey, okay? That could be resources, meaning money, qualifications, maybe even age, life experiences, current life skill sets, current professional skill sets, and also risk tolerance. Everybody is a little different, okay? Your cultural upbringings, your family's opinions, what you've been learning throughout your entire life, they can all shape you in terms of how you currently see how money works. And a lot of the times we are also here to work with you to make sure that you slowly transform and evolve your mindset so that you are able to achieve the financial goals that you're looking for. And every single coaches, trainer, mentors walk the walk. What does that mean? Our mission statement is to create financial independence one person at a time. Every single trainer, mentors, and coach on the Treasure Talent team is financial independent and many financially free. So what that means is we don't want your money. What that means is we don't need to come to you to ask you for your money to invest in our deals. We know how to do that already. We all started this and we all came together because we wanted to honor the mission to help others create financial independence. Why? Because A, somebody did it for us once upon a time. However, it is a hand up, not a handout. We all needed to ask for help. And B, more importantly, this is about, if you've heard of the saying, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, or a woman, up to you. And when you teach a man how to fish, he eats for life. And this is very much teaching you how to fish. And so again, we want to make sure that we are education only, so there is no conflict of interest in the way we help you find deals, structure deals, analyze deals, and provide guidance along your journey. And as a result, we believe that the journey for most people is 1 to 2 years. Right now, within the Treasure Talent community, we know that most people are here pretty much for a lifetime. And that's the community that we want to create, because once you're in it, you're going to see the difference, especially if you've been exposed to any other groups or training programs. And so last but not least, we're in it for the long haul. This is not get rich quick, we always say. However, when you know how to do it right, this is a get rich for sure. It's completely inevitable. And so for myself, I've been doing this professionally for nearly 14 years now. I was an amateur real estate investor since 2004. However, the line was really, really drawn when I got officially educated, where my results exponentially grew. But most importantly, this is really about, once you build it, you want to also learn how to keep it. And this is why we also, within our curriculum, have courses such as business fundamentals, income and asset protection, because it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you actually get to keep at the end of the day. And so on that note, a quick official welcome to everybody who joined us late. I can see a few more people pop in now. It is a Saturday, very casual. If it's not a safety concern, feel free to turn on your camera, okay? If it's not a safety concern, please turn on your camera, because this is really going to help us create a better, more fun and engaging environment for everybody that's involved today. And what I'm going to do now is I'm basically just going to be a virtual MC from this point forward for a little bit and pass the virtual mic onto the different trainers and coaches and mentors on the Trust Your Talent team. So I guess first up, shall we say, let's go east to west today. How's that? What that means is we do have our strategy coach, Mr. Andrew Cowie, from pretty much downtown Toronto, would you say?
Close enough. I mean, I don't call it downtown. However, many people that don't live in Toronto would consider it to be downtown. So
there we go.
I'll take it.
It's all relative, right? Yeah. So Andrew, why don't you do a quick introduction? How long have you been in real estate investing for? When did you officially get educated? What the difference was for you, and what you think the 3 key ingredients have been for you to create a successful portfolio and a real estate investing career so far?
For sure. So I've been real estate investing for about 3 years now, somewhat of an amateur when I started as well. Made a few purchases that I would have changed, and now knowing what I know. After that, I did decide to get educated. January 2021 is when I enrolled into Trust Your Talent, into the full program for mentorship. And I haven't looked back. And a little bit about me, I'm a father, a husband, and yes, I live in Toronto. And my journey has been great. I focus on distressed properties, multi-unit residential, and I also work in the Airbnb serviced accommodation space. So that's where I'm at now. And of course, because I've been able to have some success and learn a lot about how this world of real estate investing and financial education works, now I'm able to share it with new people looking to upgrade their lives, and very fortunate to do so as a part of the Trust Your Talent team as a strategy coach. So in terms of the 3 key ingredients, I would say, first off, there's a lot of information that floats around that people learn and think they have knowledge of. However, they never apply it. So number one, I think you need to be educated. There's been people over the past year who have been come into pretty hot water, given the fact they made decisions when they weren't educated. And so they had some financial losses because of that. However, as educated investors, we know through all these times how to invest and are able to do it responsibly. So I would say being educated is number one. The other thing is having a strong enough why, because there are going to be days where it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and we are honest about this as well. There are days that are more difficult. And so we need to make sure we have that why in our heads and reference it all the time. So in my case, I just had a son. It's a very good why now, because everything I do, I am able to think about him and why I'm doing all this stuff and how much I want to spend more time with him as we continue to watch him grow up. So education, why, and then the last one, it's going to be perseverance. And it kind of goes back to the why, because we have to keep going. I know that some people say that there are a lot of real estate investors out there who give up or never get started. And so it's a matter of starting, persevering, and then never giving up. And so those would be my three ingredients, which none of have actual anything to do with the how of real estate investing, because once you have all the background, the education, the why, the perseverance, everything else will fall into place. And that's truly what I believe. And I'm happy to share that. So those would be my three ingredients. And of course, the network. Although I'll let someone else take on the network.
3.1, 3.1,
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, 3.1.
I know it's always a challenge, right? People are like, what are the three key things? Well, I mean, this is why there's not a lot of 60-second TikTok videos from Trust Your Talent, because as a group, we always like to make sure that, because we are talking about people's financial future, we're talking about financial education. If you can dumb it all down into 30 seconds or 60 seconds, there's probably a lot of context that's missing. Okay, so I mean, I love that. And so I'll give it to you. 3.1, the network. And I mean, everybody else that's sharing, we could always, there's no harm in overlapping, because what that ultimately means is just, it gives other people an idea in terms of just how important it really is. Because I'll be completely frank, for me, when I first got started, you know, I heard this phrase over and over again: your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. And in my little mind back then, I'm just like, sure, I don't even know what that really means. However, it is really something that, like, you have to really feel over time. And again, when the times are good, it doesn't really matter. It's always when the water gets a little rough, then you start to see what your network is your net worth truly means. At least that's my personal experience.
Oh, absolutely. And then when you have a deal that you need some support with, having that network really does help. And of course, having great business partners as part of that network. And I see a few in this call as well. So
exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you know, feel free to chime in still. At the same time, as we said, east to west. So now I see, I mean, usually I go ladies first. However, you know, we're going east to west today. So next up, Nina, how about you do a little bit of introduction, let people know who you are, what your background is, and how long have you been involved in real estate investing for, what the training has done for you, and what your three key ingredients are.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Tim, and thanks, Andrew, as well for the lead up and getting us all excited. It's so amazing to be here with all of you on this Saturday morning. The sun is shining in Toronto, and so it's a beautiful, beautiful day. And I've been investing. My name is Nina. I've been investing for 3 years now. I can't believe it's 3 years. It's just crazy to think about that. And I was very net new to real estate investing, to real estate in general. I was one of those people where when we bought our house, my husband gave me the papers to sign. I mean, I didn't even know what I was signing, which is crazy. I'm glad that we're still good, and signed my life away. And that was that. However, for me, I mean, I think, you know, incorporating some of the ingredients, my why was really that struggle of not having control of my time. Professionally, was doing extremely well, was making good money. I had invested already a lot in my professional traditional education and getting my doctorate. Spent probably over $180,000 in school, and nicely was sitting on a pile of student loans as well. So hustling to pay those off, you know, but also loved what I did. But my real struggle was controlling my time and the flexibility of how I spent it. And so I for me, my real why became when I realized that there was options and a vehicle where I could gain this control of my time, start replacing some of my income and really gaining back that currency of time. That was something that was just like this like long desire. I mean, we talk about travel, we talk about, you know, time freedom, but I just that struggle of waking up and being around the clock in management, trying to operate multiple pharmacies. I just was looking for that change and not completely to leave leave the job. And I know lots of times social media distracts us, quit my job and I left full time and all of this stuff. And it wasn't originally I thought, am I trying to do that? And it wasn't about that. It was just about creating another stream that while I still could take care of patients, I didn't have to be indebted my time 40, 50, 60 hours a week doing that. So that was really something that was speaking to me. So made the decision to get educated because guidance and mentorship, no matter what I've done in my life, I've always looked outward for support, whether it was tutoring through high school to get the grades I needed to get into certain university programs, to getting guidance on where I was going with my career, to getting tennis lessons, getting that guidance and support and mentorship. I always looked outward for that support because why should I reinvent the wheel? If I can collapse my timeline, get the support and really create change, put the dollar to the word and make it work. I knew that was the way I was going to do it. And for me, I also love people. I love hanging out with people and I love being surrounded by people. And I always heard from various people that entrepreneurship and the journey in real estate investing could be a lonely sport. And that was one of my struggles with if I want to transition fully from a very people profession, how am I ready to be in a lonely sport? And so this is where when I really did my homework with who I was going to surround myself with, TYT, I mean, was that sport and was that team that was going to help hold me up, hold my back up and drive me forward to get results. And so really that guidance, the mentorship, the community was my second ingredient. And of course, structure and systems. I mean, again, I wanted to make that change real fast. I wasn't willing to, the thought of spending 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years to potentially create this result of cash flow and income replacement seems so long to me. I mean, I felt like my hair was going gray just even thinking about spending 10 years doing that. So the fact I was able to do that within 2 to 3 years, I mean, I've been able to grow not only financially, but also in my mental health, in my physical health, in my family health, in my relationship, been able to look at other life goals. And so collapsing that timeline with systems and structure was also something that I knew I had to put my dollar to create. And, and lastly, cash flow. When I always say this, when Nick and I were dating, and like 10 years ago, I mean, we realized it was 10 years this week. When Nick and I were dating, we'd always talk about, okay, we're going to buy a condo for, every time we have a bucket of a change, we're going to go buy a condo for a future child. And to bank on appreciation that hopefully one day they'll be able to cash out on it. And when we realize you can actually see cash flow today, where that cash flow can replace income, but also pay for vacations, pay for school, pay for different things. Now the goal is not let's not buy a condo, let's buy a building for each of our future children. And so cash flow is king, and it's cash flow that allowed me to also transition from my full-time employment. And so I think that's 4 ingredients. So I'm sorry I didn't follow the rules, but there you go. And happy to connect with everyone who wants to chat. I love talking about life and real estate investing and everything in between. So
there we go. I mean, it's funny. You're the second one now, and you also have 4 ingredients. I guess that's totally fine. I mean, again, for us, like I said, it's really, really challenging to really boil it down to 3. And I really feel what you were saying there, though, Nina, is, I always say these, and people in the TYT community have heard me say this a lot of times. I mean, you don't always need to quit your job. That's the thing. Like TYT is not one of those organizations that's like, quit your job, fire your boss. I mean, I wanted to. I remember I really wanted to. I didn't get to because I was laid off at the end of the day. However, it was really just about the fact that I felt like my life was completely trapped and I had no control over my time, my income level, my stress level, and everything was, my entire identity was tied to a job back then. And I was not happy. And so at the same time, though, I think over the years, I also realized that, again, most of you, especially for somebody like you, Nina, like you're a very special, you were in a very specialized profession, right? I don't know if you share with people what you did before.
Yeah, I mean, that speaks to me so much, right? Before, I had my doctorate in pharmacy, operating multiple pharmacies, none of my own, no financial investment, however, owned it. Because anything I do, I give it 100%, including any journey that any of us go on. The goal is to give it 100%. And it was really, Tim, for me, I mean, it was that lack of control of time. And that was the struggle. And my thought was never, I'm going to quit being a pharmacist. However, when I felt comfortable enough because my portfolio was growing to a sizable amount, and through the guidance with my mentorship, I sat with my mentor and I was like, okay, I'm not fully there yet. However, I'm ready to step back and go part-time. And funny enough, when I wanted to go part-time and sat down and have that conversation, I quickly realized that that wasn't an option for my employer. And my employer was like, you're in all or nothing. You're too good to be part-time. And that's when I also realized I had to become the driver of my own life. And I was so long sitting in the passenger seat, waiting for the employer to drive me this way or that way. And it was time for me to either hop off the bus or sit in the driver's seat. And when I was given that fork and I had to make that decision, probably one of the craziest decisions I ever made. But like you said, Tim, I mean, it wasn't about totally quitting that profession. And at the same time, I still operate a side consulting business in that profession. I still keep my license. I want to keep that license. I enjoy providing care and doing more operational consulting with pharmacy while my portfolio grows, while I help my dad in his business. And so again, multiple streams, and knowing that my passive income bucket's growing through real estate investing, I can have options.
Yeah, creating options in life is really, I personally believe, what it's all about. Because the moment you feel tight on something, especially from a financial standpoint, again, money's not everything, we get it. However, having that resource in particular probably makes life a whole lot easier on a day-to-day basis, living in the modern world. So yeah, thanks for sharing. And so going, well, let's go west now. I don't know, what's more west on the map? Is it Calgary or is it Edmonton?
No, it's London. We have Gustavo.
Well, Gustavo, if you want to give it a go. Okay, while Gustavo figures it out, it seems like Alberta strong. We're going to Alberta first. How about this, Mike? Mike, you're in Calgary, and you also have had quite a journey so far. So why don't you share with people, you're about what, 5+ years in, what has contributed to your successes? We've all had some down days. What are the 3 key ingredients that keep the success going and keep the momentum going and for you to not give up?
So Andrew had 3.1 ingredients. Nina had about 5. I'll probably bring it to 10. So, do I have your blessing? Give me a high five. All right, we're good. Cool. So good morning, everybody. So my name is Mike Morrow, and yeah, I'm a strategy coach here at Trust Your Talent. So who am I? I am a father of 2 very busy boys, Landon and Lennox. They're 3 and 5. And I'm also a husband of a beautiful wife by the name of Allie. Why she chose me? Well, it's clear. It's the looks and the personality, perhaps. Now, what brought me, what brought me to real estate investing? And you know what? I'll start off with some of the ingredients here. The why. And I know there's a common theme between all of us. It was my purpose. It was my why. Now, when we first started on this journey, I knew nothing about real estate investing. Now, one thing I did know was that I was soon to become a father. And I knew that the lifestyle that I had lived before, for those of you that have heard my story, that know me, I was very much a live for the weekend type individual. Living that corporate life, Thursday was a new Friday, and basically wanted to, find where I can get that, that bottle going. And anyways, when I found out I was going to become a father, I knew I had to change my ways, because otherwise I was heading down a very slippery slope of really not getting anywhere financially, physically, and mentally, and everything. So we decided, well, ironically, thanks to algorithms and all that stuff, I believe there was something that popped up on my social media that led me to read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And this is where it gave me a bit of a glimpse of the possibilities, what financial education really means, what it can do for you, which I was never taught this in school. My parents never taught me this. And I have my sister here, Lisa, give a big wave. She knows exactly. It was just one of those things where it was very much a work hard, work hard and exchange time for dollars, which, it instilled good work habits and the grit. However, I didn't want to be sitting there, 60, 70 years old, having to exchange my time for money. So I would say that, your purpose, your why has to be deep rooted to the point that it pulls you to want to do greater for yourself, to do better things, because there's going to be moments, like you said, Tim, it's a roller coaster. I sit there and I don't know how many times I've had conversations with Tim being like, you know what? I've done a deal or two and I wanted to throw in the towel. And it was very much the one thing that really stood out to me was the fact that it's not a linear trajectory. And I think most of us expect that in this day and age. We all want it. I wanted that. I wanted, the moment I started, I just wanted to be climbing up that hill. However, it was a very linear, or a very hockey stick trajectory. And most people give up when success is right around the corner. And I was there. Now, this kind of leads into a bit of the second key ingredient, was the guidance and support from a mentorship. Because if it, Tim, if it wasn't for you, I would have done like, I got my first deal, my first two deals, my education's, I've done it. End of the day, I can tick it off the box. Mike can kind of continue working, which what we discussed a bit earlier here, it's not about quitting your job, because at the end of the day, if you love what you do or you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Our first goal as our family was to have my wife, Allie, to be able to transition at her choice, at her will, to be able to choose what she wanted to do. And she was with a company, she was with a general contractor client doing project management for, I believe it was 11 years with the same company. Very much enjoyed what she did to a certain degree, but as we had our first child, we soon realized how hectic life can get with two full-time parents. Getting up in the morning, trying to rush out the door to get your kids, to daycare or grandma's, and then having to rush back and then get dinner on the go. And it was just go, go, go. So, that was a deep, deep reason as to why we wanted to continue this journey. But there was moments that we wanted to give up too, because it's not an easy journey. However, through a lot of conversations with my mentor, Tim, he was able to kind of keep me motivated in terms of, hey, Mike, if you keep it up over time, because at the beginning, when you do that 1% extra every day, at the beginning, it feels like it's just, you're not, it's a linear, you're not going anywhere. But afterwards, over time, over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you start to realize those little habits will make a big difference. And when success finally hit, it was pretty rapid, to the point that we were able to hit our goal. Within 3 years, my wife was able to, after our second born, because we had another child, she was able to transition from her job. She had the choice to be able to leave. And I myself still work. Why? Because my employment is very flexible. And when we all talk about the circle of wealth, your active, your passive, and your portfolio, my job, which I enjoy still, it treats me well, it pays well, and it's very, very flexible. That's just one stream of income. Now my portfolio hits all the different buckets, whether it's passive, earned, or portfolio. And what it's all about is having multiple streams. And, you know, this journey, we're forever grateful. We sit back. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment where, you know, we're always looking to level up. We're always looking to push forward, and you don't realize how far you've come. So for everybody here that's on this call today, really, you know, take the time, whether it's today, this week, and take 5, 10, 30 minutes and sit back and reflect on, you're here today. You guys are here today. You've stepped outside of your comfort zone, whether you're just looking to get started, whether you're looking to expand, whatever it is, you're choosing to be better than you were yesterday. And to me, that's a big, big high five to everybody. Now, the last thing too, the last ingredient, I'll stick to 3, Tim. I'm just kind of dovetailing a bunch within. The last thing is a community, because although Tim is and still is my mentor, you know what? The community has been huge in terms of growth, in terms of keeping you motivated, in terms of learning. Hey, although I'm a coach, I sit there and I don't know 3.9. Yeah, well, we'll go to 4 here then. No one's saying stop, Mike, for time. So end of the day, you know,
no, just kidding.
The community's huge, because when we sit there and, you know, Lisa, she's on the call here. You know, she was in a position a couple of years ago where she was, you know, having a bit of a rough go. And she has said to me a number of times, if it wasn't for the community, it's just the energy that she gets off of the coffee chats, the seminars, the courses, everything that we do. Sometimes that's enough just to get you out of bed. And I know that doesn't sound like a tough thing, but hey, when people are down and depressed, getting out of bed can be the hardest thing. So the energy that everyone brings, everyone's willing to pick up the phone, get on a Zoom call, show up at your house to hold you accountable, to be like, hey, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. You might feel like crap today, but tomorrow's a new day. What can we do to help you? So I would say, you know, to hit the 3 ingredients, it's basically your why, your purpose has to be super strong. It has to be able to pull you, to be able to get you up in the morning to do the things that you want to do, you know, late at night when everyone's in bed, to be able to work on yourself, to realize that, hey, I can control my destiny and, you know, be able to dream. And then the other one was the guidance. You know, if it wasn't for my mentor and my coaches, because I've had mentors and coaches, a couple of them all throughout, and they're still here. They're still a part of my journey and critical to it. It's to have them there to see something in you. Because when I first sat in a boot camp, I sat there, I was like, man, this is awesome. However, I don't have 2 pennies to rub against each other. Like, how can I do this? You know, everyone says you need money to start real estate. Well, you do. That's right. But it doesn't have to be yours. And when I learned the creative financing, the raising funds, all these sort of different soft and hard strategies, I realized, wow, we've grown our portfolio, and a lot of it, 99% of it, is with OPM, other people's money. So we didn't have to come up with our own money. Now we've built the multiple streams to the point that, you know, my wife right now is off doing an inspection with the 2 boys with one of our tenants. And she's a part of the business now. It's become a big, you know, it's a part of our life, and we love it, and we're able to help others out. So I could go on until 11 o'clock here, Tim. So I'll probably
you can
pause it right there to let others share. Love to connect and share my journey. And also, hey, it's all about giving back. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Mike. And as you guys can see now, you know, again, feel free to, you know, put your hands up if you want to share something. You know, if something that one of the coaches have shared also resonates with you and you have a bit of a personal perspective and story to share, feel free. Like we said, this is meant to be interactive with everyone too. Now, you know, I'm going to go to the next person here first, and then we can come back and do a bit of a round table with everyone. How's that? And so, you know what? I'm going to hop over to are, in my opinion, they're special guests, even though they're on the team. However, right now, Lily and Rolando, why don't you share with people a little bit about who you are, your journey so far, where you are at right now, and your 3 key ingredients. And you can share it as individuals or as a couple, because we know that there's a lot of B&B partners that embark on this journey. So the stage is yours.
Hi, everybody. So we are joining you guys from Saudi Arabia. And so he said going west, and I'm actually all the way out east. So my name is Lilian, and I am one of the but one of the trainers and mentors here at TYT. And, with my life partner and business partner, Rolando, and I'll let himself introduce.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Good to see you all here.
Yeah, so we have been on this journey a little bit, 7 years plus. And yeah,
More
yes, yeah, a
Let's
little bit,
say.
maybe eight.
Yeah, 9 years now.
Oh, no, okay, well, I'm 2 years behind. But anyway, and it's been, the ups and downs. And I think, as I'm hearing Nina's and Mike's story, it just brings me back to why we started all of this. And one of the key ingredients that we really, really wanted to hone down on was education. And, when we first came through our training, we were climbing up the corporate ladder. I had, I don't know, completed, I don't even want to count anymore how many degrees and certifications and, professional designations. I have like 7. So, when it came to education was really, really a big one for me. So we definitely, had to have something that we were going to lean upon in regards to education. So learning how to analyze deals, analyze markets, and having that education behind us was really, really important. So we are both civil engineers, so having that I want to say market and deal analysis was really important. And yeah, so that's the first key ingredient. I'll let Rolando introduce himself, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, as Lilian said, we are joining you guys from Saudi Arabia. We've been here for the last 8 months, I think, and we're going to stay here for a little longer. Doing some project management stuff and whatnot. But it goes back to to the beginning, 8, 9, 10 years ago, when we decided to start investing in real estate and get educated and so on. We both had corporate jobs, as some of you know, and we had decent jobs, decent income and whatnot, but we realized that no matter how good our jobs were, we were just depending on our jobs, we would have never been able to achieve some of our big dreams and goals. And it's interesting because I was having a session with one of my mentees last night, and we were talking about what we are doing these days and whatnot. And I told this individual that 99% of what we are doing and the lifestyle that we enjoy today is because we've been extremely intentional, and it was by design, not by fluke, right? So going back to what Mike was saying, having your why very, very well defined and in front of you all the time is critical. So understanding what the motivation is, because as Mike said, we all would love for this journey to be a linear, but it's not. It's going to have a lot of up and downs and so on. So one of the things that I realized very early when we were starting our business and whatnot, and I'm personally myself, I'm a little impatient, and I realized with the up and downs that sometimes that the business was doing really well, and 6 months later we felt like nothing was happening and whatnot. But one of the things that actually struck me is when I realized that we cannot expect to get results for work that we are not doing. And that was me. In my head, I thought that because I was busy, I thought that I was doing the work. And then I realized that not having a solid plan was an issue, because we were going in circles, we were super busy, but really not being productive and being effective. So, that comes down to, kind of, the second thing that we realize as a team that is important is being aggressive with the work, however, being patient with the results. The results will come as long as we are consistent and persistent, and we continue pushing through regardless of what life, what curves life throws at you.
Yeah, definitely. So I really like what Nina also said in regards to having options. And I think that, with this particular, strategy, you can definitely learn so many skills that you in the corporate world do not have. And one of them, which is the third ingredient, is really leveraging and learning how to leverage other people and their knowledge and their experiences. And, it's something that in the corporate world, it's a no-no. You don't do that. You are the expert. You are, you have to figure it all out. And it's something that for me, I love to ask questions, and I always like to, I seek for understanding. And this is part of the knowledge as well, but it's leaning on people. And for us, our Tim, our mentor, was that person that we went to when we were in trouble or when we didn't know what to do. And he always made it so easy, because we were basically leaning on his experience and leveraging his knowledge and his bright mind, really, to be able to just kind of come up with solutions that we would have never thought of, because we just didn't have that exposure. And, and Mike and Nina both like, you don't have other people, you don't have the money to do all the deals, but knowing how to leverage other people's money, it was key to our success. So I think that that piece is one of the key ingredients as a business owner and as a full-fledged real estate investor that we almost learned, because and that has been the biggest contributor to our success, I think. And when it comes to your power team, there's never ever I guess a doubt in our mind that leveraging the best or the power team that you create is key also to your success. So those are the two key ingredients that that we wanted to, or three, I guess, with knowledge that we wanted to share with you.
Thank you. Wow, that was awesome. And I mean, goodness, yeah, I remember now, Rolando, you were saying 8, 9, 10 years ago. I think I'm like journeying back like literally 9 years ago for me when I first met the two of you in a classroom environment. That was very cool. Yeah. Awesome.
And it happens so fast, right? It doesn't, you think that it's going to take forever, but it doesn't. It happens so fast. And when you're looking, things will appear in your radar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love what you said, Rolando. I mean, I typed it out in the chat box with everybody. Be aggressive with the work and be patient with the results. And I think that's just it, because I mean, these days, especially, I really, really like to share the quote by Bill Gates. He says that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year. However, most people also underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. And it's all those little things that start to add up on a daily basis. And then when you look back, again, when you do it right, in this particular case, when you learn financial education and you learn how to leverage a particular asset class properly, getting rich and getting wealthy is inevitable. Like, you can't stop it. That's the thing. So that's awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to move on to Vince. Vince is one of our strategy coaches on the team as well. And Vince, I think looking around the room at the moment, you're probably one of the youngest right now, if not the youngest person. And I can relate to that at the beginning of my career a lot as well. At the same time, though, Vince actually also lives in Edmonton now. And when Rolando and Lilian are here, they're literally a stone throw away from each other. However, my point is, over the last couple of years, a lot of the conversations that Vince and I have had basically is just me going, oh man, I started when I was 28. You started when you were 26. And look just how big of a difference your life already is in your early 30s. And so, I mean, this is not one of those things, where age is a factor. What I'm saying is we always believe in the fact that it's not the years, but the mileage that counts. How fast you run with it, you have full control over it. And yet he's managed to really live a completely different life compared to a very typical T4, 9 to 5 employee mindset person at such a young age. So take it away, Vince.
Tim, you can't let people know my secret that I'm young. There's a reason I grew out my beard to look a little bit older. So I do look like a baby at most times without this. Nice to meet everybody and good morning. And yes, I do live literally 5-minute walk from Lillian and Rolando's house. We live in the same neighborhood, coincidentally. But yeah, I started when I was 26, and like millennials, I think for a lot of millennials, we're stuck and we don't know what to do and how to really get to that next level. And I was kind of there. I was actually there, and I've hit that that dead end where you hear the dead end job. That was me. I just was climbing the ladder of making more money and lived in downtown Toronto and just did not get ahead. And the seed that was planted was, go to school, get good grades, and then find a good job with benefits. And then of course you want to start saving up, paying off all your debts and get married, start a family, buy a house, buy a car. And I was like, how? I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck. How in the world does anybody do this? And if I was to basically follow that same path that most millennials are on right now and not willing to look a different direction, I wouldn't be where I am today. And you got to ask yourself that hard question. I know sometimes we've invested a lot of time and money into our path and our direction, but if it's not working, it may be time to take a different path. And it's not saying that you couldn't continue on the path that you're on, but have a different option as well. And so I would say, when I started, this was the breaking point for me, and that was when I was 26. And I would say the 3 key ingredients, I don't think I have 3 as well. The first one I firmly believe is that you have to have that burning desire, because most people get too comfortable being uncomfortable. And then the days just pass. The days just go on. 3 years, 4 years, and then it's like 6 years, and you're like, oh my God. And Tim literally said the other day, oh my God, I'm gonna be in Hawaii, I think Hawaii, and I'm gonna be 42 now. It's like, where did the time go? And I'm like, shoot, I'm already 31 now. Geez, because the time just passes. However, that burning desire to want more, and it really does start with yourself. That aspect of what's missing. What's that key part that's missing out of your life? Are you missing that fulfillment, that impact that you've always desired? And then from that burning desire, it leads to from within to now with from outside of you. So now thinking back to maybe your family, your friends, or people that who do you want to help? Because once you've achieved yourself, you have now the opportunity to help others as well. And most of the people I think I can vouch for and state this, that we're here as a team because a lot of us are in a position now where we're able to help other people, and we want to pay it forward, give back to our community, give back to the people that, that we want to see flourish. And I know there's a handful of students in the room as well, and they totally understand where we're coming from. It is a different vibe coming into this community, and we're all just in a place now giving back, giving more. And so that's probably the very first one, that burning desire of wanting more. And now I think it leads to the next 3, which goes back to community, and then community to education, and then education to your mentor. So community, if you notice, I think a lot of the coaches were talking about it, the mentors were talking about it, that I think having a community, and even especially when everybody's thinking from the same perspective, have the same mindset, it's a lot easier to share your resources, to share your money, other people's money, share your time, because now when everybody comes from the same mindset, everybody comes from more of an understanding perspective. So when I need money, well, it's easier to get money and access to money. When there's somebody that I need in terms of a referral for resources, I can ask somebody in the community for that resource. Community is definitely going to be there, but however, the other thing with community is the support. We often say that this is a very, very lonely journey. Learning to become the 1% of the world is a very lonely journey. And most of the people that you know, and unfortunately they share the same last name, maybe not in Mike's case, because somehow Mike has brought his entire family into Trust Your Talent, which, you know, I always am inspired by that, because that's the same goal that I have as well, is to bring my family and friends that I've known in my past life into this environment. But it comes with time when they're ready. And so, Mike, I need to keep understanding your secret sauce on how you manage to do it.
Planted the seed for 5 years and it,
So that community, I mean, it's sometimes it's going to be difficult, because the people that you know and your friends that you grew up with, when moments get hard, when things get tough, there are many times that you would just want to give up. And it's so easy for someone just to fall back into their usual routine. And so easy for, let's say, your mom telling you, or your dad telling you, or a best friend telling you, saying, hey, you know, Tim, it's okay. Irene, it's okay. You know, just go back to your normal job. Like, that's what you're meant to do. Lisa, it's all right. Don't worry about it. And then you just fall back. And then, like I said, it goes back 5 years, 6 years, and your time is gone again. And you're like, oh my God, what just happened? And you totally forget everything that has passed. So that community, when everybody's in that same boat with you now, growing together, that's when things really start to take off, because there are times you're going to give up, and then someone's going to say, hey, where did you go? What happened? Let's get back on the wagon. Let's keep pushing forward. And so that community aspect, I think, is going to be that foundation where you need to start work and build yourself off of. And that's where that support starts to come into play. The second thing now is going to be that education key. So the education gives you the system, the know-hows, and even the fundamentals to basically start putting things into place, actions that you can, like step-by-step actions that you can actually take to start to get the results, because we're not reinventing the wheel here, by the way, guys. Everything I learned from my mentor, I learned from other students, I learned from other teams. And so the education, I didn't make that up. It's already been there for years and for generations. And we're just helping you guys basically create the same system and follow the same footsteps so that you can create the same results. And I think the good saying is that success does leave clues. Success leaves clues. Too many people often are out there trying to reinvent the wheel, trying all these new things, and just to find themselves back at square one. And then they get discouraged, and then their family tells them it was never meant to be. And then the last piece of the ingredient is going to be definitely the mentor. The mentor is that person, that one person in your life that's just maybe started a little bit ahead of you, but however is on that same path as you and able to give you that support, the guidance, and really look at things from a whole different perspective. It's basically having another set of eyes and another set of a brain that can think a little bit more than what you can't see. And I think the coaches and mentors can agree. Sometimes the solution is literally right under your nose, and you're like, why didn't I think of that? Like, it's so simple, so easy. And then until your mentor's like, hey, did you think about that? It's like, right. And literally last night we were talking, me and Tim were talking, and literally that was it. It was such simple conversations, but complex at the same time. And sometimes it's just the fact that we don't know what we don't know. And the mentor is there to really guide that and open that up for you so you can start to see things literally from a different perspective. So I would say those are my key ingredients for success. And I would say last thing I would leave is definitely have a plan A, but also have a plan B. Now you might be thinking, well, what's plan B? Fall back to what, go back to a job, or no, plan B is to help you figure out what plan A was. So figure out what plan A is. Work on plan A and make plan A work. Don't give yourself an exit that can sabotage your own success. Make the path and commit to it, submit to it, and just make it your life. And that's how you're going to make it success in your own life. So that's what I'll leave it with.
I feel like that was a TED talk right there. Commit and submit to it. I love that. Yes, exactly, Nina. Thanks for catching that too. I was quite inspired by that. And so as you can see, there's a lot of, a lot of us, we've all had our journeys, and most of us started at different times, and we've had different experiences investing in different strategies and different markets, and even different property types and different construction types. And so again, today we're keeping it at the 3 key ingredients for success. If you want to discuss a little further with anybody on the team, make sure I'm going to show you how you can reach out to the strategy coaches so that you can start to get plugged into the community. So next, we also have 2 more special guests, and I'm going to speed them up a little bit here. And now we're going back east. By the way, depends on how you fly. Saudi Arabia could be west too. So I just want to stand up for myself for a bit. So next, Brooke, if you want to share a little bit about who you are and your 3 key ingredients for success, and because you've been in the game for quite a while now, so go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. And I want to say that by now you probably hear our stories and you see the commonalities. So for everybody, it started at different point. I wish I had the luxury like Vince, like Tim, to start earlier. However, when I started, I felt like being comfortable, sometimes it's a curse or a blessing, because even though we didn't have much investment at the time, we had good corporate jobs, our life was comfortable, I would say. However, it just feels like, I think rat race is the best way to describe it. And we're comfortable, we're traveling, we're paying a lot of tax, but we're not really improving. So it feels like we're not growing. So for me, when I started, the biggest thing, so first thing is really the desire and have a goal. The biggest thing for me is at the point where I'm already middle age, I don't feel like I'm growing financially, we're not getting any better. And the biggest thing is a desire to learn and grow in the beginning, because I think even if you're already in the game, you have to constantly feel that you want to grow, you want to learn more. Because even though you have the ingredients now, and there's so many of us here to support you, it's never easy. I would say it's simple concept. We constantly talk about the same structure, the same way to get started. It's simple, but it's not easy. And that leads me to number 2. I think the community is so important. And a lot of the times, I think sometimes I go to work because I want to have contact with people. Being an entrepreneur, sometimes it's really, really lonely. So if you're in a community, you're hearing other people right here going through the same thing, going through exactly what you had to go through. Despite where you start from, despite the market you're in the East, West, or even abroad, it doesn't matter. So when you feel lonely, when you feel stuck, that community is really important. It's not just us, also your mentors, your peers, your power team as well. So number 2, I think the community is so important, because it's never easy. And even if you're already in it, you see the success. So that kind of gives you the confirmation that yes, eventually you will reach that goal. Eventually you will see the wealth and have the life you want to have. And I think it's like motivation. You want to be motivated every day, just like you want to be showered every day, feel clean, feel refreshed every day. So that's number 2. I think the community is so important. And number 3, and besides constantly want to grow, learn, having a very, very strong goal, number 3 is just constantly learning from the community. I think education never ever ends. And I've heard people also in the community, especially when the market goes up, down, sideways, some people are saying, I just want to continuously doing what I do and be comfortable. At the same time, you realize that the market constantly change. That's why I keep saying you want to have multiple strategy. You want to have plan A, plan B, plan C. And sometimes what you learned on top of what's going on, combine that, and we're all sharing our experience. We're all sharing our learning. So, we kept saying you don't have to reinvent the wheels because you can piggyback on each other's experience. And at the same time, we're all growing together. And before I end my portion, I just want to say, ask for help. Mentally or professionally, I realize that sometimes we feel like we're burdening other people or we just want to figure out ourselves. At the same time, I realize that we're all so happy to help. Sometimes I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to help. So we're all in this together. So I'll leave you with that. Ask for help. It's simple, not easy, and continuously learn and grow as an investor, as a person, as an entrepreneur.
Love that. Thanks, Brooke. And again, these are all soft skills that are so vitally important, because you guys will go to a hard strategy class like wholesale assignment, like distressed properties, like lease options, even creative financing, or even infills and multifamily. The point is, when you go to those classes, you walk out with a tool that you can put into your tool bag so that when a deal comes along, you know how to analyze it from A to Z and make your decisions as a result. However, it's all these soft skills that work on your minds, that work on your mindset, that works on your risk tolerance muscles, as I call it these days. That's what's going to push you forward at every turn. And so I'm going to now pass the mic on to, like I said, I'm a virtual MC this morning. I'm going to pass the mic on to Gustavo, who is a mentor and a trainer on the team. He teaches wholesale assignment and service accommodation. So Gustavo, what are your 3 key ingredients that have kept you going all these years? You've been in it for a while too.
Thank you. Yes, Dean. Yes. And I apologize because at the beginning, I accidentally unplugged my mic. So that happens too when you're at home. So let me introduce myself very quickly. I know everybody has shared a lot of key points, key success, or keys, I'll call them, right, to find success. And so I'm gonna try to keep it very brief, but I want to share a little bit of what I've done so far. Like the team said, I've been investing for about 15 years in real estate. However, though, only 9 of those have been as an educated investor. The other years, I was just playing to be the smartest guy. And I always thought I was the smartest guy. I swear to God, I always thought I was the smartest guy. So I came to Canada. The first thing I did is I'm going to smell for money. Like I want to look for money. So I find a job at one of the biggest banks in Canada, right? The big banks in Canada. And I started growing, escalating a corporate ladder very, very fast to the moment that in the span of 5 years, I was managing 37 people. And I was having big decision power in this organization. And to be honest, one of the things I always did not want to do is get a life in a corporate environment. I never wanted to sit on a desk. When I went to school, I said, I gotta go and gotta do something that's got nothing to do with being or going to a desk or sitting in front of a desk, talking to people. I actually wanted to be a soccer player, disclaimer. I got to do a little bit of that, but my injuries didn't help. So I turned into a corporate employee, and I guess I did very well. And I started investing in stocks as a result of my work, and voila, I was able to achieve a bit of savings to buy my own condo. Lakeview, very nice, but very tiny. And yeah, and I was so proud of it because it's like, you wake up and you have the lake and it's very nice and the sun on one side. I could see, this is in Toronto, I could see the CN Tower in one angle and I could see the lake on the other side. So it was beautiful. So my mom actually came visit for first time, and I had nowhere to stay. Like she had to actually stay in the den in a little bit of a improvised bed. So that made me feel really bad, and I started figuring out, okay, what's the next step? And I started looking at getting a different house, and I got to grow, and there was nothing. I was actually making it, even though I was making good money, I was just making it month over month. Life was expensive. My lifestyle was expensive. I did not know how to do it. So when I got educated, I switched gears and I started doing a little bit better in that sense. No, that's another story, Tim. No, we're not talking about models parts here.
Mike
But
brought
yes,
it up.
that was me. I got educated. Was that?
Mike brought it up.
Oh,
keep going, keep going.
already. So yeah, I got educated. I started realizing that I wasn't the smartest one, and I looked for something else. It's a better way to get my goals. So my 3 keys are simply, one is being you. Just be you. Just go with it. Whatever it is that you want, just follow that, right? And follow your heart, follow your dreams. You have to be the one wanting more. You have to be the one chasing your dreams. If you're chasing somebody's dreams, then let it be your option. I mean, it's okay. I love those people. They work for me. So, it's okay if you want to achieve your dreams, then get up and do your own. Worry about yourself. Again, you don't have to be the smartest person. And that brings me to the next key component. It's association. That means you are the average person of the 5 people you are the closest with. So if you don't start associating yourself with the kind of people you want to be, then you're not going to be there. You're not going to achieve that. So start hanging out with those ones that you dream to be. That's why when I started looking at people successful, I started look a little bit more successful, and I started feeling more successful, and then by consequence itself, just achieve success. So you gotta be there, and you gotta be willing to, wake up and follow your dreams, follow the people that you want to be with. And the last one is action. And by action, I mean massive action. Not stop, not quitting, keep going, keep doing. You have to make a call, don't make a call, make 10 calls. You have to write an offer, don't make an offer, don't write an offer, write 20 offers, right? So you got to do a lot of massive action. You can't just sit there and just do, I talked to a realtor today. No, talk to 5. You got to do a lot of that and have that determination, because again, going back, you have to wake up today and say, this is what I want for me, not this is what they want from me. And I think I'm going to leave it as that. I don't want to extend it too much. I know might want to talk more.
Well, thanks, Gustavo. I mean, I love what you said, massive actions, because I think a lot of the times, especially without education, most people are even scared to put in an offer. Even after they've been educated, they're still scared to put in an offer. And one of the earlier lessons that I learned is answer this question: how much money can you make from the offers you've never made? And so everybody's coming here to learn how to create more income sources and more wealth. And yet, step 1, we get tripped up. And this is why so many people, and we've talked about this as well, and these days I just ask people, are you investing to feed your bank account, or are you investing to feed your ego? This has nothing to do with ego. And so many of us still have that. And some of us don't even realize that we have that. Again, maybe talk to a strategy coach if you haven't yet. You'll figure it out. And the thing about it all, though, is I think you can hear quite a bit of a common theme in terms of what we're all sharing here. I think there's a lot of overlapping points. And I know some of you private messaged me and asked me if I'm going to share mine. And I'll do my best to share this, because I also got a few upcoming events that I want to share with everybody as well. Now, for me, though, if you've heard my story, my biggest thing first, being an Asian person is my first key ingredient is and will always be, and it was education or seeking education. Why? Because back in 2009, when everything that I was doing didn't seem to be working out, and I don't know, how many of you guys can relate to this. I had a decent corporate job. It was paying me 6 figures when I was in my mid-20s. And so I was doing everything that my parents and society and TV ads were telling me to do. Contribute to RSPs, max out your RSPs, put your money into your savings account and buy company stock options, because your company's going to match your RSPs, your company's going to match your stock options, and pay down your mortgage as quickly as you possibly can. I was doing all these things. And then all of a sudden, 2009 came around, and I'm looking at every single one of my investing statements. And I'm going, hang on a second. Like, I may not be the smartest person here, unlike Gustavo. It's not hard to figure out the fact that all my investments are going backwards. Like, how am I ever going to retire or even maintain the same lifestyle that I have during my working years? And so I started seeking alternatives and different options. And real estate has always sort of been in that side view mirror. It's always there, but I just never really pursued it. Because at the time, I had a condo in the greater Vancouver area in Burnaby, if you know where that is. And it was right on a SkyTrain station, prime location, 900 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. A lot of people would kill for it at that age, at that time. And I just thought that life was good. Life was easy. And I was, making good money. But then looking at my statements, and I'm going, well, hang on a second. I mean, something's got to change. And so I decided to jump into a real estate deal when I knew nothing about how to leverage real estate as an asset class. I basically cashed out all my money from my savings, from my tax-free savings account, from my savings account, from my company stock option, from even my RSPs at the time. Because in my little mind, I just thought, well, even standing still is better than falling backwards. That's exactly what I was thinking, because my money was losing money. So even standing still, I was getting ahead. That's what I was thinking. And so I cashed everything out and put it into this syndication deal. And this was a commercial development project that was in Saskatchewan. And I had already moved to Edmonton at the time. So now all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I have a condo that's a rental property, and I have another principal residence that I bought in Edmonton. Life is great. However, what happened was basically the developer in 2 months' time took everybody's money and ran. They decided to default on all of their money. And so I've never had this happen to me. I don't know how it could even happen. And so I decided that when I got a letter from a law firm, because there was a lawyer hired to start a civil lawsuit by other investors, because everybody wants to see if they can get some of their money back. And so I went to that meeting, and literally, I mean, talk about core memories and life-changing moments. And this is why I keep sharing this story, because while I'm sharing this with you to hopefully it kind of hits you at some point, it reminds me every single day why I'm on this path and I'm on this journey, and why through Trust Your Talent, we just want to help people to never experience that. Because when I went into that boardroom, like very much like Vince right now, I feel like I was one of the youngest people in that room, if not the youngest person. However, in that particular scenario, it was not good. Why? Because I saw people that are basically my grandparents' age. So if you guys still have grandparents around, picture it. You walk into a room with people that are in their 60s, 70s, or maybe even 80s. They worked their entire lives, okay? I thought I lost my entire life savings at 28 years old. There are people that lost their entire life savings at 80 because of this. And so I was completely numbed and pissed off at what happened. And so I walked away from it thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do? I'm still young. I can make my money back. Except that I wasn't really that young, in the sense that in my mind, there was something that was always kind of holding me back. And I'll share that in a little bit. And this is also why I decided that when I came across the opportunity to go into a boot camp or a workshop, and I learned how to really leverage real estate as an asset class, I grabbed onto it. Like I had to take out loans because I had just lost all my savings. Even though I was making good money, I was spending good money. I was in that typical rat race lifestyle. And on the outside, it looked great. However, on the inside, I felt completely emptied out and completely angry, sad, miserable. And so when I came across the education, I just thought, okay, you know what? That scene in the boardroom burned in my head. I can continue to work my life away. And literally, I was working 60 to 80 hours a week on average. I could continue to work my life away. And somebody, if I don't know what I'm doing, the market crash, or somebody like that developer could still do the same thing to me as they did to other people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And so education is key, and I'm forever biased. And this is why, with the help and support of my amazing team, we were able to get Treasure Talent Academy off the ground, because we want to make a difference in people's lives. And forget about growing your portfolio sometimes. In my opinion, even if we get to help you protect your portfolio, that's also amazing, just because because of how all the movements in the marketplace these days. And so education is definitely my number one key ingredient. Number two is how to collapse time frame. Because like everybody else in this room, I believe that the reason why you're here signifies that you're all intelligent and smart and hardworking people. Otherwise, you would not spend a Saturday morning or early afternoon with us. And the reason I'm saying that is because many of you know that I've had 3 heart attacks in my life. So at a very young age, I realized how fragile life could be. And so when I was working so many hours and had my money taken away like that, I just thought, okay, well, yes, I'm still young. I can make my money back. However, I never know what's going to happen to me. And I really just wanted to take control over my life and my financial situation. And so that's really one of the main thing, is to focus on how can I actively collapse my time frame. I know if I continue to work hard, work for the next 20, 30 years, making 6 figures every year, maybe eventually a 7-figure income, life is going to be just okay. But I knew I wasn't going to be happy. And so that's really what I wanted to do. And last but not least, kind of is the same point, is that I want to take control over my life. Is one day, you know, I saw this quote not too long ago. It says, one day your life is going to flash by in front of you, and you better make sure that it's worth watching. And that's really something that inspires me every single day now, and that gets me going. And this is also how we came to the 5 core values that we share at Treasure Talent, which is health. And health is beyond physical health, even though to me, that's probably one of the most important things. So it's also financial wellness. And this is why we are training financial education. And then we also have sustainability. You can work really hard at something, but you can also lose it if you don't protect it. Sustainability is so key these days. And then we have joy, we have fulfillment, and last but not least, we have impact. And I think impact is really what brought a lot of us on the team together, is that we really just want to leave a mark and leave the world a better place than when we first found it. Hey, Jude. And so with that, like these are the 3 key ingredients that really motivated me, that really keep me going still. Because I know so many people are asking me these days, if you're so successful, if you made so much money, why do you want to, you know, work so hard still and build Trust Your Talent? Well, let me share with you. And this is why I always say, I really, really want to create financial independence, financial freedom for everybody at Trust Your Talent. Why? Because when I became financially free, I almost got depressed, because I thought becoming financially free means I don't have to go to work. And yet when I stopped going to work, I was watching TV, watching movies, playing video games, playing with my dogs, going shopping every day. That was really fun for about 2 months. And then I noticed that life had no meaning or purpose again. And it was very dangerous. And this is why, again, finding your life's purpose is really ultimately what we want to offer everybody the opportunity to have. I know it might be a little bit fluffy right now, and that's okay. Just trust the process. You know, talk to a strategy coach to get you started if you haven't already. And this is why we're here. This is why we do what we do on a daily basis right now. So on that note, I'm going to quickly share, okay, some of the upcoming events with you, and the official portion of the coffee chat will end pretty soon. However, happy to stick around for a little bit longer if you've got questions, if you want to share something, or if this particular coffee chat inspired you in any way, okay? So as mentioned, next Saturday, we have one more webinar before we take a bit of a summer break in August here at Trust Your Talent. We all need to recharge. Remember, sustainability is one of the core values. And so how to maximize deal profit during a renovation. I'm inviting a very prominent and successful real estate investor who's also a general contractor who runs a construction company based out of the GTA to come in and share with all of us how to actually work with your contracting team so that you are able to control your expenses effectively, maximize the BRRRR process, and as a result, your deal profit. So make sure you register yourself for next Saturday. Okay, don't miss it. We're gonna be going out before the summer break with a bang on our webinar series here. And then the next one is we're gonna do a TYT Connect on August 16th in the Vancouver Lower Mainland area. So stay tuned. If you're not on our mailing list, make sure you go to our website and put in your email so that we have that. And alternatively, you can always go to Eventbrite to look for any upcoming events that are put on by Trust Your Talent. We are doing some fall planning right now, so you're going to see a lot of things getting announced. Now, next is we have a live workshop. And these workshops, we have limited spaces. Why? Because at Trust Your Talent, we are quality over quantity. It's all about results, results, results. And we are going to build ourselves to become the Harvard of financial education. What that really means is we only accept 60 to 80 students now on an annual basis to make sure that every person on this journey gets the attention that they need to be successful. And last but not least, I want to do an open invite to everybody and just keep a lookout. Our 4th annual conference and Academy Awards is happening in Vancouver. It's going to be held at the Weston Bay Shore, downtown Vancouver, on the weekend of October 27th, 28th, and 29th. We have another live workshop happening there. And in addition to that, we have 5 advanced courses. And every single course, as I mentioned, is anywhere between 12 to 24 hours. Every single one of these courses are going to be 3 days over the conference, live in person. Okay, this is now, registration is open. It's open to the TYT community as well as the general public. So chat and talk to a strategy coach if you are wondering how you can get into one of these courses. So we're going to be putting on distressed properties and real estate investing fundamentals, creative financing level 1. You can check out our website and find out what level 1 covers, because as I mentioned, there's creative financing level 1, 2, and all the way to 3. And service accommodations taught by Gustavo, which covers short-term rental and midterm rentals. And a lot of the times also will put an emphasis on one of the most popular marketing platform that is called Airbnb. And then infill and project management, Rolando is going to be teaching that course, and all the way back from Saudi just to deliver that course for everybody. And last but not least, US foreclosure buying. For the very, very first time, we have US foreclosure course live for 3 days in depth to teach Canadians, okay, specifically designed for foreign investors wanting to do foreclosures in the US right here in on Canadian soil. So make sure you do not miss that. As Canadians, especially if you've been in the game for a while, you understand that Canada really does not have foreclosure opportunities. And this is why if you do want foreclosure, to do foreclosure type of deals, you gotta actually go south of the border. And there are other considerations that you need to know as a foreigner, okay, operating in the US. And coincidentally, we also have a comprehensive US curriculum as well. As I mentioned earlier, we are North America's largest real estate investing training team, and we have the world's largest real estate investing and financial education curriculum right now. So do your research, look it up, look us up, speak to a strategy coach. And here is a quick overview in terms of what's usually covered in a bootcamp or a workshop. As you can see, we have 2 workshops coming up: hard strategies, soft strategies. And we've always built in interactive components to help you retain some more information. And you're going to get a lot of bonus materials as well. And the most important thing really that most people walk away with is a tailored roadmap for your financial plan, to help you to get started, to help you to continue to grow. So with that said, chat with a strategy coach to find out how you can get involved. And TYT students, as you know, you have special invites to get into workshops and bootcamp throughout the year too. And so with that said, the next step for some of you, because I can see we have a lot of people that are already in the community today, is complete your calls with one of the strategy coaches. And if one of you can help me out here in the chat box, thank you, Mike. Basically, you can get your journey started. And so on that note, stay connected. There's a lot of content that we've actually put out there. Most of them are long formats because we want to make sure that you're learning things properly. This is not a simple hook. That's not what this is about. This is about understanding the fact that you are here for long-term financial success by choosing financial education and leveraging real estate investing. So on that note, I'm going to say the official portion of today's coffee chat has ended. We started about 3 minutes past the clock earlier, so we're finishing on time. As I mentioned, I'm happy to stick around for a few more minutes if you've got some ahas, anything else that you would like to share, or any other questions. Okay, for those of you who are exiting now, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Appreciate you joining us.
Tim, I believe Rocky has a question.
Yes, Rocky.
Yeah. So I had a question that what happened in the boardroom? I missed that part. Sorry.
So what happened was that I got to see people in my grandparents' age basically throwing temper tantrums. They were basically pounding on tables, pounding on, if you have little kids, picture a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum on the floor. Some of them were doing just that because they've had their entire life savings stolen away from them. And
Okay.
they didn't know any better. So that's when I learned, I don't know what I don't know. Same thing.
So that condo board bought something? Like why they were doing that?
No, the developer took everybody's money and
Oh,
defaulted.
okay. Okay, got it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Any ahas? I know, Richard, you're having a lot of ahas these days.
I mean, my white hairs is growing. I just turned 30. I didn't anticipate them to grow so fast. However, my learning and my passive income is also growing, so I prefer that.
Love it. I feel like white hair is a very genetic thing though, because I know like I've had white hair since I've been 17 and they haven't really grown that much.
Mike just told me to get over it because at least I have hair.
Be very thankful. Be very thankful, all of you here. As I look in the room, except for Benny, you're on my page a bit, so high five to that.
Oh.
Everyone often imitated, never duplicated, right, Benny? Exactly.
I love that.
So what I understood is trust your talent is like all education based, like you teach how to invest, what to look at, not just like invest the money and we'll build this building and you get your share and go home. Correct? You'll teach every aspect of it, look at different type of properties, look at different angles. You teach us, correct?
Correct. And we teach you without any conflict of interest, because there are also people that will teach you and they teach you just enough so that they will come to you and ask for your money to invest in their own deals.
Right. Okay. And at that Vancouver conference, there will be courses. So those courses will be taught in the conference after the conference, or how it is
During the conference.
during the conference.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope to see you there, Aki. Yeah. See you and your son. I mean, I'm just so happy that you brought him to the workshop last weekend. It's
Right.
amazing.
I'm also very glad that I brought him. He was like so much involved and interested. I didn't know that he will do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Because
awesome.
at your place there is an environment, right? If I took him at other place, he would have felt that, oh no, like I'm young, or oh, this is boring. But Stephen kept him entertained, kept us all entertained. I didn't even realize 2 days. It's fun.
That's good to know. We'll make sure we let Steven know. And obviously Nina's here, Andrew's here, Vince is here also, and Gustavo was also in the room last weekend. So thank you for the comments and feedback. Remy Realty, I've seen your name on the screen for a while now, and I haven't seen you yet. Hopefully this was fun for you and you took some value away from it. Lillian, what time is it where you're at now? Dinner time?
It is dinner time, 7:38.
Ah, okay. Awesome.
So my weekend is gone.
No.
The weekend's here Friday and Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But you guys enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, we will. It's really
Lillian,
fun.
every day's a weekend for you. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there is no weekend. Like some
Yeah.
days I don't even know what day it is. I have to ask Orlando, so what day is today? Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter really.
I know.
23, just so as an FYI.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, Vince and I have this conversation all the time. What day is it today? Does it really matter? No. Every day is a vacation day and every day is a work day, because work is not work anymore.
That is correct.
Wait, it's Friday today? I forgot it was Saturday today. I thought it was Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
we're
life.
finishing up setting up the second Airbnb here. So it's fun, and it's been a very cool experience.
I heard we might have the ability to stay in it at some point.
Maybe we'll find out.
Everything has a price, right?
Yeah. Well, this is now turning into a bit of a community party again. Gloria, are you there? Are you grabbing bubble tea? We're coming back to Vancouver next Friday now, and we're gonna be there pretty much all of August.
Oh, you're coming back next week?
Next Friday, and we're there all month, the entire month.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Maybe we will run it, or I'll run into you again.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Can't wait for the TYT Connect though.
I know, it's gonna be fun. It's always fun. Yeah. Well, I guess I think this just about wraps it up at this point. So let's call it a day. Thank you for everybody that joined in. Appreciate your input and your shares. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and or whatever's left of it in a different time zone. Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.